When we think about what it's like to live a life free from identification, we have this idea that it's going to be the annihilation of everything. We have this idea that everything that we take to be our world, the people who we love, our job, our friends, our family, the whole universe that we see every day, all of that will be annihilated because we have this idea that the it must be my creation. I must be the one seeing and hearing and tasting and smelling and touching and interpreting all of these things. And if you get rid of the me who is doing all of this seeing and interpreting, then of course, what could possibly be there? Everything else has to dissolve with it. And that's the erroneous conception. So when we have this idea of what it's going to be like post awakening or post lack of identification, we will often see this just black blank void. And in the middle of that black blank void, there is still this kernel of awareness because the mind is fantasizing what it must be like. And it's creating this idea of this fantasy because it has always put itself in the center of every experience. As far as the mind's concerned, this sense of self has to be here. In every moment of your life, it has been putting this in the center of everything. It has been deciding that the world is all around us in a 360-degree bubble, and we are that little minute centrality in the middle of it. So, of course, if we imagine that that it takes to make the whole world disappears, then of course the entire world must disappear with it. But the problem is that the mind still believes, still assumes that there must be an awareness there that is still hovering somewhere in the middle of this absolute expansive void with no center. And yet we still see ourselves as the center of this centerless void. So what I would like you to do is to reverse this, because the inverse of that is true. It's not that there is an absolute black void with this small kernel of awareness at the center. It's that without identification, absolutely everything exists. Everything that is here right now is still here. The difference is that there is no one who is inside of the center of this experience, who needs to find something to cling to keep safe, to make something happen. There is simply the raw experience of sights and sounds and tastes and smells and physical sensations. And the mind can't grasp that. It can't have the world where things spontaneously appear, where the sights just are known by the visual field itself, where there's nothing separate from it, where there's nothing separate from any of the sense fields. The mind isn't used to that being a possibility. And so it's constantly trying to create an imagination of what it could be like, where it still maintains that central belief, that core belief in some sort of awareness, some sort of self in the middle of it all. And of course, that is going to spring up a whole bunch of fear, because if you feel like there is still something here that I take to be me, and now I'm annihilating everything in existence except for this core me that I've been trying to get rid of for so many years. Of course, that would be terrifying, but it's not the way it is at all. That me was never there to begin with. You're not getting rid of anything. The only thing that you're getting rid of, if we could speak of it like that, is that there's no longer a belief in something that was believed to be there and no longer is.